welcome back to my channel. So today's video is really exciting. It is a kind of extreme thrift flip. I've already done a couple DIY dorm thrift flip decoration videos and I will put them in the iCard. But today I am thrift flipping a trunk that I found at the thrift store for $4. And I will actually give my mom credit. She's the one who pointed it out to me, and if I had just walked by, I probably wouldn't have thought to get it. But she was like, we have fabric, you can cover that up and kind of make it new. And what's great is that it was definitely cheaper than like regular storage ottomans that you would buy for a dorm. And it's also bigger and sturdier. So I'll go ahead and show you it now. So here it is. It is pretty dang ugly and definitely well used. Like I said, it was $4. It's kind of got this like yellow beige vinyl material on it, and it has these like thumbtack embellishment things. A few of them have fallen off. It's very dirty. There's like a missing corner on the top. It is a little cushy, and there are these buttons that you can actually see on the lid right here, and the lid is actually a piece of wood, so it's very sturdy. It is, however, cracked in the center, but the thing is, just sitting on it will be fine. The inside is this very sturdy material. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of fuzzy. So my plan for this is to take all of the embellishments off of it, take off the buttons, and put some old towels that we aren't using anymore on top of it. Maybe do 2 or 3 just to give it some more cushioning. And then I have this, I don't know exactly what kind of fabric it is, but it's kind of a thicker fabric, a stronger fabric. It's not as soft, but it's, you know, more heavy duty. And the right side is actually this like weird yellow color, but I'm going to do this, I mean, it's not exactly white, but it's a pretty light color, and I'm going to have this go on top. And then for the sides, I got this peel and stick laminate, and this is like a wood pattern, and I got this from Lowe's for, I think it was about $8, and this comes in 20 inches by 15 feet, so I'm definitely not going to use it all. It'll definitely be a good way to like make this look neutral and nice and not just like this. That's what I got going on. The first thing I'm going to do is take all these off and probably just disinfect the inside and the outside. So the first thing I did, like I said, was take off the tacks from the front, and then I also used some disinfectant wipes to wipe off the top and the sides, and I also took like the tube of the vacuum cleaner and I used that to clean the bottom and the sides of the inside. The next thing I did was remove the like button prongs from the lid because they were really pointy and it would be really easy to like cut myself on those. And then I unscrewed the top of the support from the lid, and then I also unscrewed the hinges from the lid so that I could separate the box from the lid. And there were these like strips of fabric and more tacks on the inside, so I just took those off too. So we have these old towels that we are going to get rid of, so I repurposed them and I cut them to the size of the lid so that I could put them on top. And I ended up cutting 4 layers of towels, and then I just hot glued them together because they didn't really need to be held together that strong anyways, because they're just going to be under a piece of fabric. So I glued those together and then I glued it onto the lid, and I used the buttons to kind of guide and make sure that they were like kind of centered on the lid, if that makes sense. Then I got the material that I'm going to be using to cover the lid, and I just cut that to the size that I was going to need. And of course Mookie helped me. Then I started working on the sides of the box, so it was really convenient that the back of this paper had like measurements on the back of it. So I cut the piece to the size of the back and then just a little bit, and then I removed the hinges from the back of the trunk, and I had my mom help me because I couldn't do this alone. So I just peeled the bottom and started from there so that it would be, you know, like straightly put on. And I used this yardstick to help me like lay it down flat. And I folded over the edges because I wanted to make sure that there wouldn't be like any bare spots on the corners. I cut off some of the excess on the top and then cut in the corners and folded it down just a little bit to cover up the fabric that was already there. Then I cut 2 more pieces that were the same size as the sides. Well, actually they were a little bit longer, just like before, and for some reason using the yardstick didn't work this time, so I just used my hands and I smoothed that over on the bottom and I smoothed that over on the side, and I just cut off a little bit of the extra because there was a little bit too much there. And then I used the yardstick to decide like what length I should have it fold over, and it actually was pretty much the same as the piece that I had cut for the previous side, which was lucky because it was just a random guess. Next, I put on the other short side and I folded those edges over because I didn't want the front of the chest to have like the corner of the paper fold over. I wanted it to be the exact length. So I put on like the back and the sides first, also just to give me practice. So like I said, I wanted it to be the exact length, so I traced it and I cut it out and then we put it on. Okay, sorry about this terrible angle, but I have finished covering all 4 sides of the chest and it honestly looks really, really nice. It's like very smooth and you can't tell any of like where the holes were before or anything, so I'm really, really excited with how this looks. Moving back to working on the lid, I ironed the fabric that was going to go on it because there were a lot of creases in it. So then my dad and I pulled it taut around the lid and we used his staple gun to staple it down. And we did the sides first just to make sure that we had the fabric pulled taut, and then we trimmed off some of the extra fabric and then configured the corners so that it would be, you know, the best looking, I guess, that it could be, and then we just stapled that down and I cut off the extra fabric on those too. I messed up on one of the sides earlier, so we just had an extra piece of like kind of sort of messed up wood paper, and so we just put that on the lid just to make it look like cleaner and nicer. Then, starting with the assembly back together, I poked holes where the screws are supposed to go for the hinge, and then I just put the bolt and the screws in. So then I placed the lid back on top and I cut the fabric that was in front of the screws because it would be covered up by the hinge anyways, and this just made it easier to put the screws back in. So I screwed the top of the hinge back into the lid and then it was attached. Then I also cut away the fabric that was in front of the screw holes for this little support, and I screwed that back in and was done. Yay! It's done!
Good job!
Not even a minute of this being done. And he's already claimed it. Already. Okay everyone, so that is all for this thrift flip. I am actually sitting on it right now and it is so squishy. The towels are actually like way more comfortable than I was even thinking they'd be. And like you saw, Mookie has already claimed this as his own, and I'm having to put like a blanket on top of it so that he doesn't get all his black fur all over it because it's so light. In the past like 12 hours, Mookie has only been sitting on this chest or on me, so I think he knows that I'm leaving and that's really sad. But it's not sad how awesome this chest turned out. The roll of contact paper was like $8 and I used less than half of it, so this pretty much all cost $8 for this whole chest. So I'm pretty proud of that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more thrift flips, for more college videos, for more beauty fashion videos, pretty much just all that fun stuff. I'm gonna have a college move-in vlog coming soon, so get excited for that. And I have to go pack for college now, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye!